perhaps to sit with the meditation a little bit longer. You can repeat it on occasion. When your future appears vague or dim, this meditation will help you to enliven it, allow it to be more real, to understand your heart in creating something new. All right, and we have some questions. John, who is beginning?
Monica. Okay, Monica, you got it? Yeah.
Hi, Tara.
Yes, dear one. Where do we begin?
Oh, that was so beautiful. And I'm so glad to speak with you. And so my heart is going like faster. Excitement. Thank you.
Wonderful.
So so when you're saying the meditation, it's like kind of, I think kind of in cancel count kind of, you did answer a lot of what I was thinking, because I believe that where I'm at, I'm gonna be having another move, and if so, may that be the destination where I'm thinking of be my success. And I wanted some guidance because I'm creating my optimal future, and thinking it will all beautiful and good. Safety is very important in the human plane, because I do notice that even though we're not protected and we are like with God, there's always those evil parasites that want to attack. But I see it as either good or bad. I just really don't put too much intention. Anyways, that would be a long conversation for me. But will you give me any beautiful guidance on my next journey I'm going to be moving, Miss Beautiful Tara?
Yes, dear one. All right. Certainly so. You are creating something new, and this meditation, as you referenced, the optimal future that you are creating is coming alive for you. And within that, what is important is, as you say, a knowing that you are safe, a knowing that you are connected. For in the connection, that is the safety. That is the source of all safety, is really building that connection with higher self, with soul, with spirit, with God and Goddess. And as you align yourself with your optimal future self, those choices become easier. The opportunities abound. What is important is to understand the resonance dictates the illusion. So when something occurs in the illusion that is not a resonant match for who you're becoming, you will be guided to, hey, this belief doesn't serve you anymore, or that belief, or this attitude, or these feelings aren't a resonant match to who you're becoming. And so it's important from time to time to say, the fear that I'm feeling isn't for no reason. It's a message to look to see what's not in alignment with who I'm becoming. What have I held on to that is comfortable but is based in negative emotion? And so in order to move into the more optimal state, it's important to free up some of those emotions. And as you have been doing so beautifully, you are much more than you were. You are conscious, more conscious of yourself. And in that consciousness, in that beauty, that love is power. The power to create something new. The willingness is in there too. So as you understand, okay, there's a part of me that thinks in duality. You live in a world of duality. Black and white, good and evil, fear and love. As you recognize that, oh, as I choose my resonance, as I choose to be connected, to feel safe, to know that I am not alone, to know that I am loved, to truly understand that worth is given, that I don't have to earn my right to be here. That is the foundation. And with that foundation, you truly can create anything. And what happens when you reach for what you want? What pops up is what is not a resonant match. And so as you're dreaming your next step, as you're dreaming the move that you want to make, I want to move, I want to change, I want to grow, I want to expand. And add into that, with harm to none, with elegance and ease. Because I want to create, I want the focus to be on the positive. I want the experience to be exciting, but exciting for the better. So that your experience of the unknowns becomes more beautiful, more sacred, more in alignment with who you truly are. Does that help?
Yes, Taro, that was really beautiful said. I was thinking, and I saw a lot of beautiful things, and I'm very proud of myself because I always want to be in the best of my optimal future and my optimal self. I
Wonderful.
I like to. I'm grateful. I had another question. May I?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, beautiful Tara. Where I'm at right now, no one knew me, and I just want to know if do they, I don't know, accessibility, intuition on people or different levels of, as you have said, recognition of themselves, of the connected, the source have ways to show, and if so, kind of, I went into this little conflict, but I was able to clear it. I just need to know if they do they think of me whatever they want to think. I think myself I'm protected, but it's just a little bit of a headache because I don't know how they came to be. It wasn't I. It was the universe, the synchronicity.
So in creating reality, there is a full range of possibility available. So there's a low end, there's a high end, there's everything in between. The average of the range is usually where a person exists. Everything that is in your illusion tends to be an expression of the mid-range. On occasion, something will show up from the low end, and as you choose to show up more in a more positive way, which you are doing, you're going to experience more and more on the high end of the range. And suddenly that high range becomes your average, becomes your new range. And then there's a new high range, and there's a less negative low range, you might say. But there's always a full range of possibility. And being a magician as you are, as being a map maker magician, you are here to make maps for others to follow. So some of that activity of you going into the unknown, of gathering the energy, then in your physical plane reality, showing up differently, becoming more conscious, being aware. Oh, asking, what is this physical plane experience for me? How is it for me? And what am I bringing to the experience? And what's the possibility for something beautiful to come of this experience? And as you are doing that work, you are more yourself. You are, as you say, I know I'm protected. I know that I am good. I know that I have value to bring. And I know that I can create something new. I can dream new dreams, and I can manifest them. And along the way, this experience, this physical plane experience, lets you know where there isn't a resonant match, what beliefs are ready to go, what beliefs are not in alignment with who you are becoming, that are part of the past, which may be comfortable, but no longer serves the you that you have become. And so as you recognize, okay, sometimes there are going to be people who come into your sphere of influence, so to speak. You are the influence. You are generating the reality. You are the resonance that precedes the manifestation. But people who show up, depending on what level, if they're at a distance, then they're really part of the illusion. But when they're closer, more personal, now you're working at a soul level. Now you have an opportunity to grow and to help them grow as well in the interactions. And it is up to you to choose to what degree you wish to create interaction with the illusion. And you can always step back, detach, figure things out on the inside, then go back and see, okay, what changed? What's different now? Knowing that this is an illusion. And what matters is what you choose to bring to that illusion. And to understand you are free to change reality. That it is a choice that you make. That is your right to make. Does that help?
Yes, it's very beautiful said. You answered many questions I had in my brain. Thank you so much for your beautiful time.
Yes,
Always
we love you,
thinking of
sir.
you. Thank you.
All right. And so, who is next?
Suzanne.
Yes, dear one.
Hi, Tara. I would like to.
Oops, Suzanne, you might have to unmute yourself again. Sorry. Clicking around here. Suzanne?
Okay.
All
Yes,
right,
we
good.
hear you
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. I would like to talk about what is happening in our world now that Trump has unleashed his tariffs. And I have been watching the effects that it is taking and listening to the pundits about the economic destruction that it has wreaked. I've often wondered why Donald Trump got back in office, because in the new world that I was dreaming, there was no room for him. And before the election, I felt in my bones that he might get back in. So I turned to a YouTube channel, and I discovered this community of psychics and people who read tarot cards, and every one of them turned over cards showing that Kamala Harris was going to win. So I'm wondering, I mean, this has always baffled me. How could all of them be so wrong? I have wondered where all of them were tuning in to get this information, because I saw them turn over the cards that said she was going to win. But anyways, that's one thing. The pundits are saying that in the first 2 days after the announcements, it wiped out $6.6 trillion, or 10% of the stock market. And in today's trading, it was halted temporarily in Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. And they said $7 trillion of market cap traded in 30 minutes. Now, I know Wall Street is not Main Street, but the stock market is a future indicator of what people expect to happen. They said it has obliterated American households' wealth and 401ks, especially the people who are on the cusp of retirement and depend on their 401ks to retire. They say it has caused anger and contempt from the world for America, with countries saying that the relationship of trust and mutual respect is over. And where they are now, they see America as a potential adversary and not an ally. And they feel that they must move forward without America. They feel that the American age is over and it ended because the American people are no longer worthy of it. They also feel that what Donald Trump has done is such a betrayal of the free market. In his book, In the Art of the Deal, he said his strategy for the art of the deal was to, one, do something audacious, to two, make people panic and come to the table, three, then you leverage them down, and four, then you do it over and over again. So he has claimed that with what he has done, countries are running to the US to reduce the trade deficits that the US has with these countries. But according to the pundits, the trade deficits are more reflective of a country, the US, that has only 5% of the world's population but consumes 34% of the world's goods. You know, this is such a destructive way to deal with the problems of industrialization, using tariffs as a power grab. It's like taking a sledgehammer to the economy. You're going to take the stock market down, increase inflation, weaken the economy, and put us on the cusp of a recession just so that you can have a negotiating tactic with the Chinese and the European Union. And after that, after you cause this self-induced bloodbath, then you go off for 4 days to play golf with your billionaire friends. I mean, to me, I said to myself, how cruel can that be? I mean, shouldn't there be shouldn't the means count for something? And why would you burn the house down and have no other house to move into? If he wanted to do tariffs, wouldn't it have been better to gradually put them in as a strategic way to build a new foundation that you can build a structure on? And now he wants the Fed to correct what he has done. You know, interest rates will come down, but nobody will be able to buy a house. Gas prices will come down because there's no demand for it, as nobody will have a job. And so they say that the shock to the system is even greater than COVID. Biden took us through COVID and there was high inflation, but by all indications, the economy was very strong when he left. Trump has obliterated everything literally. And look at what Elon Musk is doing to the government. He's taking a chainsaw and eliminating everything. You know, I said maybe the first time he was elected, it was an aberration, but this time he told everybody what he was going to do and people still put him in the office. You know, I feel angry at what he's doing, and sometimes I feel like, well, the people asked for it. But as a map maker, I'm wondering what can we do to make a difference now that it has been unleashed? Is it just supposed to be this way for the disruption to take place and we're just have to go through it? You know, Lazarus said that we're on a pinnacle, and where we step and how we step is going to determine what kind of new world we're going to have. So I'm wondering, what can we do as map makers?
Yes, wonderful. Yes. So as you have so beautifully shared what you are observing, certainly so, there is an illusion where Kamala Harris won, but it's not the one that we are sharing at this moment. Just as Lemuria went into the mist. Those of you who moved on to the Atlantis in civilizations chose to experience and explore new energies that were at work. So this being, in a sense, a time of addressing the pain, the trauma, the fear, the dread, the terror of Atlantis, where a confluence of technology, of economics, of politics as well, and spirituality. So in those incarnations, you played important roles also, bringing your spirituality. And when it failed, it was devastating. And as you are remembering, this is not what I came to create. I'm here to build a new world. So many of the systems, we've often said your language is embedded with chauvinism. The chauvinism is what separates you. It's a disregard for the feminine. Each of you have been, for many years now, building the presence of the feminine in yourself first and in your world. And as you can see, this level of breaking things apart is one way of clearing the slate. It is not the only way. And what is truly needed is a new dream. What is important to bring of your spirituality is your ability to dream a new dream. Because if you extrapolate from as though cause and effect is all that exists, then as you say, what is left? It is all destroyed. There is nothing left. But as a map maker magician working with the future, creating the present, it is for you to say, what future, what beautiful future can emerge from this? It was never meant to be this painful, as Lazarus has often said. And so, yes, you must forgive yourself. Absolutely. For whatever part. And we would suggest the part that has a role in the destruction, with the breaking apart of the old, with the letting go of the past, is very much weighted by Atlantis. And so it's important to bring love, bring light, bring healing energy, bring forgiveness to those lifetimes. But you are not those lifetimes. You are here to create something new, something more, something different, something unique. You are here to weave a new fabric, one in which the feminine energy is the foundation, is recognized. And what is the feminine energy? It is your ability to dream, to create space, to bring into that space, to invite the masculine energy to co-create new forms, to grow, to expand, to become more, to grieve what is lost, and also to make peace with what is lost. Because for some of you, while it felt okay, there was abundance, there was bounty, there were cracks in that abundance. Talk of the elite having more and the middle class having less. So these are all reflections. So So that information was showing up already as a reality creator. It's easy to say, that's not me. I don't want that. That's not me. But we would suggest it was clues to beliefs that were still running in the background. That when I reach for my abundance, I don't know if I'm willing to have it because I'm contributing to haves and have-nots. I'm contributing to imbalance. Now, we're not saying it's the truth. We're just saying it's a reflection of belief, and belief precedes physical reality. And so it's important, okay, what must I believe? But not to look at what's so right now, you can, but you're actually much more interested. What must my optimal future self believe in order to have a new world? One in which the individual shows up, makes a contribution, isn't a victim of reality. So this breaking up of everything, we're not saying it was the most elegant way. We're not saying that it was the right way. We're just saying it is a way to show you there's still a threat in my beliefs. There is a terrorist that needs to be addressed. There is a sense of, at the end of the day, I don't know if I create reality. There's a level of disbelief. But that's not all of you. That's not who you truly are. But you're becoming more conscious that I am willing to stand in my authority, to write a new script, to create something new, not alone, not where I'm a victim and I'm all alone or destroyed. I want to create a new world where my voice matters. But I can't create that from being a victim. So the belief that needs to be changed has everything to do with haves, have-nots, people in power, everyone else is a victim. So the contrast is huge right now for your benefit, so that you don't miss it, so that you don't so you don't overlook it and then not get where you're going. No, it is important to claim your right to create reality, to co-create it, and to know it's an illusion. Yeah, but Trump doesn't feel like an illusion. He's destroying my world. He's the terrorist. He's the nemesis. And so as you detach from that, step back and recognize I wrote that script on some level to remind me to write a new one. See, when it's just slightly different, when there's not a lot of contrast, well, what's the point? Everything's okay. What difference can I really make? But now, and we're not saying that all of you are unhappy if you are benefiting from the massive exchange of wealth that's happening. Some of you are creating positive realities here, but those of you who are listening and know that you are a victim, that's an identity. That's in the lesser self. That's what's safe. That has been safe, but isn't going to get you where you want to go next. And we're not saying you suddenly become the activist or that you become angry and rebellious and stomp on things. No. Or destroy things. No. But you do reclaim your authority. And you say, being a victim is not all it's cracked up to be. It was okay for me as a child. It was borderline as an adolescent. But now as a spiritual adult, an identity of being a victim doesn't serve me anymore. And I've got it coming at me in my world. I need to change. The part of me that has used that as a fallback position. So we're being very direct, Suzanne, but we're really talking to everyone. So don't take this as too personal, but understand, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. It has been safe to not have impact. It has been safe to not speak up. It has been safe to not go for my dreams. But you found, see, part of you says, no, it's when I go for my dreams that things go wrong. Yeah, because the lesser self says, that's not safe. Don't go for your dreams. We need to keep the victim in place. We need to keep that identity valid. Because that's where the rapport is. That's where the agreement is. That's where everybody says, yeah, that's the way it is. Which is the way beliefs show up. You know, you have a belief when everybody thinks, yeah, that's the way it is. But as a mapmaker magician, it's important to step back and say, I want to write a different script. It's my job to desire, imagine, and expect something new out of this. And we understand you are at the end of your rope. How can I imagine something beautiful with this trauma? And we would recommend that you deal with the trauma. Absolutely. Do a meditation. Be with the goddess. Be with higher self. Allow your soul to come and heal what needs to be healed. To lift the weight of Atlantis. So important. And you will understand important truths about yourself. And you will recall the commitment that you made to come into this lifetime to do it differently. And that part of the plan, bring forth a situation or an environment so that I remember what I want to heal. And so you can forgive yourself for that. Not if you're a victim, but the you that is more can forgive the part that needed to be a victim to be saved. Completely makes sense. But you're wanting more now. And you have a role to play. You see, in the illusion that is now, the world is waking up. We've said it for a while. Those of you who are healers are going to be called to make a difference, to bring the hope, to bring the light, to bring the love. The world is waking up. It's no longer enough to just allow reality. It's time to shape reality with your desire, with your imagination, with your expectation. And notice we're saying you, but we don't mean you who is alone. We mean you who's connected to higher self and soul and spirit and God and goddess and all the unseen who are here to support you, who are simply waiting for permission to assist. So when we say all of that, what's coming up for
Um, this is so much deeper than what I was thinking. And this weekend, I'm supposed to go with Nicole to listen to Atlantis. That concept synergy is, and always it coincides, you know. So I guess I really have to go in now and see what it is I have to forgive. Because yeah, I'm feeling a lot of anger and a lot of powerlessness over this. Like, not just for myself, but for the world, for my world, you know?
you? Yes. And what you'll find is when you work with Atlantis, you'll find that, yeah, you knew if we continue on this vein, we're going to destroy ourselves. What are you doing? That's what's similar. That's what's familiar. And with the impact, with the weight of Atlantis, you feel powerless. But you're not supposed to stay there. Okay? That's what needs to be healed.
Okay.
And you can do it.
Yes.
In fact, we remind you, it's
Yes.
already done.
Okay.
And as you let that future, that optimal future self, assist you. Okay, it's already done. I've done the workshop. I've gotten the healing. I'm free to dream new dreams. So Atlantis is so wonderful. Within Atlantis, you gain skills that are waking up within you now. Working with sound, working with color, the healer that you are, working with crystals, technology. Doesn't matter if you relate to technology now or not. It was a big part of your reality then. Some of you have shunned technology. No, 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 it's a distraction. I don't really want to get involved in that. I know where that will lead. Others of you, no, it's the key. It's going to help us evolve our consciousness. It was so wonderful then, and it's even more now because we're conscious. That wherever you are on the spectrum, doesn't matter. Technology is a part of it. However, as you follow whatever inner guidance you have, whether to stay away from it for a while you do your inner work, or whether to incorporate it, it's all appropriate for you. What is for your highest good? But know that you will be more free to allow exponential change after you handle that. And it's already done. And just let yourself know that there's a me who is free of that weight. And she makes different choices. She has the ability to create something new beyond what I can create. And I'm already creating quite a bit. Does that help?
Yes, so much. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
and we thank you for your vulnerability. It's very helpful to many.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We love you so.
Thank you. Love you too.
All right, John, who is next?
Jessica. Yep.
Yes. Ma'am.
Hi, Tara. So, thank you for all that information. That was really beautiful. There's a lot going on in the world, and I'm working hard to manage my energy. It seems to be up and down and all around. And I have been working on healing my gut, which I've finally discovered is so closely connected to my extreme anxiety. And then I think I'm doing really well, and I still have bouts of extreme anxiety. So, and a couple of different things. One is that I'm wondering if some of it is connected to solar flares, that I feel sometimes like I have an extreme sensitivity to it, because I'll be feeling a lot of ungroundedness, anxiety, and then I'll find out that it was a day of extreme solar flares. So that's one question, and how to best protect ourselves and deal with that. And then should I go ahead with my next question too, or just answer that first?
We'll answer that real quickly. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so there is the sense of, in the statement, how do we protect ourselves from that? Well, all of it is for you on your journey. So as you allow your higher self to manage the energies, as you turn to your higher self and say, look, I'm feeling impact, uncomfortableness, discomfort, whatever, crisis, whatever is showing up. I need you to manage the solar energies, the planetary energies, the lunar energies, the archetypal energies in such a way that it's for my highest good, with harm to none, with elegance, with ease. And as you put that request out, then your higher self has more leeway. So as you then say, okay, higher self, soul, spirit, these energies are for me. What's important about having these solar flares? How can I benefit from it? So we would suggest to see them as heightened creative forces, infusions of new energy entering your sphere in a very physical way. So you go into the unknown, you gather new energies, you don't know what they are, you come back, and then you're to look for the changes in your universe. And then you find, oh, heightened solar flare activity, heightened aurora borealis, heightened volcanic activity, earthquakes, whatever. There's changes occurring, a rebalancing of energy. Earth consciousness is participating. The archetypes are participating. You are asking for changes to occur in your illusion. You are asking for evidence of change. So as you stipulate, this is very important. Wait a minute. I want the activity, but I don't want it to harm me. I don't want it to destabilize me. And so you must participate by giving feedback and saying, higher self, wait, that's really nice that you gave me more activity and I'm feeling more creative, but my physiology can't handle all this new energy. I need balance. I need a way to ground the energy. And so it's really more about increasing that communion with higher self and with earth consciousness also. Sometimes the higher self can seem as though, well, I asked you for all this stuff, it didn't happen, what's the point? Maybe that's happening for you, maybe it's not. Don't worry if it isn't. But for some of you, it's there. And just understand it's because you're looking for something specific to happen. And then you make up reasons why you didn't get it. But what did you get instead? What positive things showed up that are signs, clues of the changes that are happening? Because you see, each time you say, I asked for this, I didn't get it. Well, while that is the truth in the moment, with that comes a whole lot of past negative stuff that then makes it difficult to desire and imagine and expect. So as you recognize, okay, I'm feeling unstable. The information, the energies, whatever it is, I need balance. I need to bring myself back into balance. And then I'll be ready to go back out in the world. And so you want to develop a routine that doesn't take very long, because you don't want to have to wait days or weeks or months before you go back out into your world. You want it to be fairly immediate. If you want to go shopping, you want to be able to do it when you want to, not in a few weeks' time. So as you look to, okay, there are certain things I've used that work really, really well. Meditative processes, going out in nature, reading a book, writing, eating certain things, drinking certain things, or sitting by a fire, or looking at the stars. Grounding activities that are simple and only take a moment. As you create a whole library of those moments to lean on, what you're going to find is, in time, the being out of balance is going to be pretty rare. Or when it happens, it's not a problem. You're just going to go pick up one of these tools that you have. Oh, what's in my environment now? What's
Say the tapping technique.
Yes. She may even know about that. The EFT tapping. Yes.
Yes.
So as you recognize, well, I already actually do a lot of those things. I just have to remember to do them. And you begin to build that sense, that image of the you that has all these resources
Mm.
available. And you actually already have them. And so it's more important to strengthen that sense of self that, yeah, I get thrown off, but it doesn't have to last long. And what you're going to find is the pain is going to diminish. It might even disappear. Because what's happened is it's the thought, I don't know what to do. That is a disconnecting thought. And so as you understand, well, actually, I do know. I may not know exactly right this minute, but I can ask my higher self, or I can muscle test, or I can use a pendulum, or I can sit with my crystal, or I can write, and I can figure this out pretty easily. And when I'm in that mode of knowing I have solution, the pain is going to diminish. Does that help?
Absolutely. And that
So
connects
what?
with my other part, and that is that one of the things that I do work with is that I go out in nature, and it's grounding and healing for me. And I'm blessed to be living in this place that I can walk for miles and miles and miles, hours in just nature and big trees. And recently I have come upon a few waterfalls that are new from all the snow melt. And it's really clear to me that they're fairy portals. And the other day when this happened, I took with me this confusion and some questions and um, asking for clarity about some things. And when I got to the fairy portal, I had a complete healing. And I just sat there and I could feel the fairies and I could, it was magical. And I know that I have a connection with fairies. Um, and I've just recently started doing an automatic writing course. So I would like to hear how, extra suggestions you have about connecting with fairies, the fairy realm, the fairy portals, anything in particular for me connecting with these beautiful portals I'm living near.
Yeah, so certainly so. Portals, you can enter, you can come back. You want to go with your higher self. You want some protection, so to speak. Not so much because harm is going to come to you, but because your thoughts, your language may not mean the same thing in their realm. And so it's important to have your higher self with you as a guide, as a guidance system. And you may find that you will be invited to work with a particular fairy or with a group of fairies who you have had positive relationships, dealings with in the past, in other lifetimes. So you are known. You are welcomed. You are known there already. And as you remember that, as you say, okay, higher self, I want to get it right. I want it to be optimal, an
Mm.
optimal, miraculous experience, not just for me, but for the fairies that I work with, that I go to meet.
Mm.
That it's an exchange of information or healing energy or an exploration, and out of that we all grow, we become more, we heal what needs to be healed between fairy and earth. meaning your Earth. They are also in Earth, but in human, Faerie and human, perhaps more specifically. So as you recognize there have been rifts, there have been disconnections, there was a time when Faerie receded. We're going a different way. Other times when Faerie came forward to assist, to bring balance, to bring the goodness, the truth, and the beauty that was forgotten. And so you can ask for that. Can say, okay, higher self, make sure that this is for my highest good, but this is what I intend. I want to receive more magic. I want to remember who I am, the magic that I have within me that can work in this realm. And so you might spend some time in Faerie where they show you what they do, or they show you who you were. They might have you meet some of your lifetimes who are still working in Faerie. Isn't that interesting?
I felt so much gratitude realizing how there's limitless amount, or there's unlimited amount of fairy portals all over, that I feel like they're holding this energy of chaos and with everything changing so much. And it just felt really beautiful to remember that.
Wonderful.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, we love you so.
Thank you.
You're right on track.
Thanks, Jessica. Nicole, did you have a comment just quickly, or did you want to wait till after? There's still Helen, Henry, and Francis ahead of you. Unless you want to just, pop in now.
I'm sorry. Are you telling it's my turn now or wait? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Would you like to just, if you have something related to what's just been talked about, say it now. Otherwise,
Tara, I'm glad for Suzanne's question because this is one thing. But as I was waiting to ask you the question, and also I was going to say, I've been talking to my friends and they're not answering. And look what I just find. It said, a better world is in your hands.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Because you see, I've been feeling also the thing was going on a little bit. And I think when you were talking to Suzanne and some of the things you were saying, I was saying to myself, I've let myself go into self-pity and feeling powerless instead of being the other way. Because I've been doing the things that Lazarus gave us, I think is the gateway, Atlantis. I've been doing the work. And I've even been working with my higher self and my own saint friend, because what he's saying is that what, like you said, Lemuria is forgotten, but Atlantis is lost. And he is talking about we need to go back there to find our medicine and the magic that we are lost. And then also to realize that we know better now. We don't have to have the whole group addressing and saying it's going to be. And that's what in Atlantis, apparently, we wanted the whole group to be. But he said, now we know 1, 2 can do it. And therefore, we don't have to say, okay, somebody else is not with us. Like you're saying, the new world is in my hands or any one of us hands. And to realize that we're powerful enough to be able to do it.
Absolutely.
And to do it this time well, because we're not going to destroy the world again like we did in Atlantis.
Yes. And it is a process of reclaiming what was lost. Absolutely. But there's also to gain what is in your light shadow from the future, from that new world of dominion, to ask for that as well.
Mm.
Absolutely.
I
As you
don't,
say, the new world is in your hands.
yes, I couldn't believe
Beautiful.
that. Because
Beautiful.
I've been asking my higher self and my unseen friend help me remember my medicine. Because as I said, your medicine is more than your magic. And I can't remember yet what my medicine is. And then also asking them to help me find what I've lost of my magic in Atlantis, because I need it now. Can you
Yes,
talk a bit about what the medicine is?
you are
The
discovering it. There are many
medicine?
components, and we will be glad to work with you on it. But it is for each person individual. It is a matrix, you might say. So if you, when you work with your higher self and your unseen friends, to ask for the components of your medicine,
Mhm.
and then to experience the synergy of those components, that is your medicine.
Mhm.
So to approach it in that way, and it will be much easier.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened, but it's the last weeks, uh, I let myself caught into the fear and all the other
Yes.
things going on.
Yes. And so as you understand that you got caught because there's a weight that needs to be lifted, that a weight not from this lifetime. It's almost as though you go into a trance as you're remembering, as you're feeling the feelings, as you're having the thoughts, you're setting the stage to understand what needs to be released. So when you reflect on the last week and you say, oh, okay, I went into self-pity. I started to feel as though I can't make a difference, that I have no power. That is from another lifetime. You can easily trace it back to being a child as well, but we would say the weight of it was something you came in to resolve. Wait a minute, that's not who I am. Wait a minute, how am I supposed to create a new world if that's true? I can't do both. I can't create a new world and take this with me because it's not a resonant match. The me creating the new world is one who's in my power, who's standing in my authority, who values what I bring as an individual, who knows that I matter. So that pattern, that old pattern of self-pity as an anesthetic, and then the pain that comes from feeling powerless. Pain not being so much a feeling, but a state of rage, of being disconnected. Because at the time of the destruction of Atlantis, it was a failure. And there was sorrow and despair and hopelessness and disappointment, all those things. And out of that came the commitment. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to create it differently. I'm going to remember who I am. Because you see, at the time of death, when you transcend, your soul comes for you. And in that moment of love, of unconditional love of soul, you understand that it was an illusion. And you understand what you were attached to that kept you from seeing your way forward. So you can do a visualization of that nature where you go to, as a witness, you go to that event at the time of the destruction, at the time of your death in that lifetime. And you witness your soul coming for you as your light body blends with soul. ask your soul to share with you, the you in this lifetime, what did I need to understand? What did I need to forgive so that I can create it differently?
I did the forgiveness after I listened to the last thing the first time, but I think I did what is the ancient rite of forgiveness. Maybe I need to do it again. This time with my
Or if
son.
you feel that the forgiveness is done, but now it's just, okay, how do I remember who I am? How do I stay awake? How do I stay conscious? That's what you're working toward. And so then you go to your optimal future self, who's already in the new world, who's already in dominion, standing in her individuality, the authority, the creator of reality, and the conscious co-creator. What does she have to share with you now? So the meditation tonight, as you were with your optimal future, you can redo the meditation and have it be the optimal future from the new world of dominion who comes to be with you, to gather what is needed.
And I'll do also the one that I go at the end of that lifetime in Atlantis when
Yes.
my son paid for me. Yes. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, because even though it's not a consensus belief yet, each of you are here to assess if this is an illusion, what is it that I'm missing that makes it so real, that where I get caught in it? I get caught in the illusion. I get stuck in it. And yet it's those very same skills that where you can make it so real that is needed to generate a new one. So it's your thoughts, your feelings, your intention, your attention, your action, your image. All of that is what contributes to what you make more real. And it becomes your experience of reality. And as you really recognize, oh, it really is an illusion. So I can change the illusion at will. Now, some of you misused power, so to speak, in Atlantis. And so you told yourself, I want to do it differently this time. We're not saying you did, but some of you did. I want to do it differently. I want to be responsible with my power. The means matter. And power without responsibility is tyranny. But power with responsibility is empowerment. And so as you include that in your image as a co-creator of reality, choose to be powerful and responsible, able to respond. I choose the consequences that I create. So just when you're getting comfortable creating reality, now we're adding consequences. Maybe you already knew that. Maybe you've already become aware of it. Maybe you've stopped yourself from fully stepping into your authority because, hey, that's a whole lot to be responsible for. And I don't know if I'm enough. At which point, what's important to do there is to recognize, oh, I keep thinking I'm alone in this. I keep thinking I have to prove something instead of knowing I'm connected. to higher self, to soul, to spirit, that I am not alone. My unseen friends are with me. I interact with them regularly. I am not alone. And when I remember that, I truly can create anything. And so you'll find the courage, and you'll find yourself waking up to a new level of empowerment that you have been seeking, because you are ready. You have done
Yeah,
it.
I've been feeling, and most of it this weekend, I've been feeling alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that leads to, what's the point? Doesn't matter. And that leads to self-pity and despair and everything else too.
But that was something, because I reached in the pile that I have there to look for something, and this came up, and immediately I picked it up and read it, and I said, "Oh my Lord!" They were just telling me, like I said, a better world is in your hands. That's what to say. They were answering my questions, and usually they do it sometime in a funny way.
Yes. Yes. That helps you know they're real.
Yeah.
And they are. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
All right. We love you so.
All right. Helen.
Hi, Tara.
Yes, dear one. Where do we begin?
I wanted to follow up on our conversation from last week, but there's a lot of what Suzanne was talking about I'd like to just follow up with first. Um, for me, I think most of the time now I'm in a space where I don't feel victimized by Trump or Elon Musk. I feel like this is our time to figure out what we want to create. And so I was really in a dilemma about going to the protest in DC on Saturday, because I'm like, I don't want to contribute to giving Trump my attention. And I want to talk about solutions and what we want to invent and what do we want to innovate and what do we value. And I'm tired of these conversations about them victimizing us. And in the end, I decided to go. And then I took Sandy and Harry came with me, and it was fun. They did it in a very strange place. There's this on the side of the Washington Monument. There's a small amphitheater that sometimes you have movies or like a concert or something. It's very, very, very small. I don't know. I've never ever heard of a protest being done there. There were so many people, and so you couldn't get to the speakers. So it was kind of more like a festival. Like everybody had all these posters, and it was just fun reading everybody's signs. And people loved petting Sandy. So we had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. And so I was glad I went in the end, but I didn't go out of feeling like a victim. So I'm not sure. Like, does that mean I still need to heal my role in Atlantis, or am I like, have I moved on? But at the same time, what Suzanne was talking about, we lost a lot of money, our stock portfolio, and Harry's now feeling like he can't retire, even though they've eliminated his unit at the Department of Justice. It's gone. He's not doing most of his job. He's miserable. So he put in for his retirement to leave. And but now he's feeling like he can't necessarily, because so exactly what Suzanne was talking about, like that's where he is. And I'm like, I think we'll be fine. It's okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to like hold the space for Harry, but I don't want to like join him in where he's at. So it's interesting because I think like what Suzanne was talking about, I feel like I'm in a different space, but I'm with someone who's in the space that she's talking about.
Yeah, so still part of your illusion, but not so much yourself, but still coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is important to desire, imagine, expect something new, which is what you have been doing. And so as you allow yourself to do that, detached from the illusion, you're building a reservoir of strength, of dreams, a resonance. As you say, I don't feel that affected. I don't want to be affected. I've constructed a future that where this makes sense. It wasn't ever supposed to be this intense, but it is. But I'm not going to give my power away to that illusion. I'm going to stay focused on building my resonance. That isn't me generating the resonance, but rather by connecting to the optimal future self who's already in the new world, who's already in the world that has changed, and where I have changed. I have grown, I have expanded into something new. There's energy there for you now. So as you allow yourself to be gifted, continuous stream of energy that just automatically fills up that reservoir within you, so that as you go about your day every day, I'm paying attention to what's new. I'm generating dreams and visions of what I want to create next, and I am also attracting to me new opportunities. So as you look to see, okay, what you and Harry had was wonderful, and there are things that you wanted to do. You wanted more time for writing, perhaps. You wanted more time with Harry, perhaps. There are certain things that you put in motion that are part of, well, this, if I could create it any way I wanted, and I can, then I want these things in my reality. And so as you maybe refer to, well, what have you been working on? And how much of it is already happening? How much of the deconstruction is creating the space for some of these things that you said you wanted to be a part of your normal daily life? That wasn't possible if the structure stayed the same. So we're not saying to say it was a good thing, but it can be a good thing. You can allow it to make sense that, oh, well, out of this emerged this freedom. Out of this emerges joy. Out of this emerges self-awareness that is in line with who I am becoming. The more of me is available to Harry, to my community, and in participating in my illusion, as you did on Saturday, it was fun. There was joy there. There was even love from the community that you're a part of. And so as you just let in, yeah, I created that on some level. I allowed it. I allowed it to be more than I expected. Does that help?
Yes. And I guess like kind of what you're talking about is very connected to, you know, what I've been trying to do over the last week since we talked. I've been doing what you suggested. I've been journaling. I've I did go into the forbidden zone. I kind of waited until this afternoon because I just kind of wrote down thoughts every day. And what I really came to was, you were saying I had to work with this matrix of negativity, I guess, that I had built up. And I, I kind of got to this when I was in the forbidden zone. So for me, when I go down some steps and I meet with the guy in my subconscious that has my book of beliefs and kind of organizes everything. And then he guides me to this room, which is my forbidden zone. That's kind of down some steps. And so I went, like you were there, and Galexis and Lazarus and my Lemurian dreamer, my Atlantean rebel that Lazarus said both of those lifetimes is where I created this belief that it's better to be separate. I can be more spiritual if I'm separate. And so they came, and and in this forbidden zone room, it's like dark and there's a lot of rocks, and the beliefs that don't change are chiseled into rocks, and I have to destroy them and then carve a new rock, a new belief in the new rock. And so what it turned out was all the way in the back of the room, on the walls of the room, were these 4 different beliefs. I never get what I want. God hates me and always wants me punished. What was the other one? There's I can't remember. There were 2 others. I can't remember. There were 4 of them, and we chiseled them out of the walls, crushed them up, and put in 4 new beliefs, and then left the room. And then the subconscious guy who manages the book of beliefs tore up it was interesting they were also in the book of beliefs, but they were often in like 6-point font, like tucked almost into the spine of the book, so you couldn't really see them. And so we ripped out those pages and wrote the new ones in the book of beliefs. So I only just did this, but I'm wondering, like Alexis says, she just put out a vlog last week where she says there's this portal open and it closes on April 10th. And what you set in place now is going to really catapult where you're, like, what you're creating with this energy from the portal. And I do have a lot more energy right now. Like, I have these phases where I'm just kind of like supercharged, plugged into an electrical outlet or something. So I'm just wondering, how did I do based on the homework you gave me last week? Is there anything else that I can do? I still want to really. I also told the guy in charge of my subconscious that I don't need the hay fever anymore. I'd love for that to go away, and I'd love if there's any other thing that I need to do before April 10th, that it's done. What came up for me in the meditation was that I need to relax more and know that it's coming, whatever I'm asking for. I have to flip into this receiving. And what's interesting is, I listen to Abraham every morning, and sometimes not just in the morning anymore. And for the last couple of months, I keep seeing 11:11, like the time, like twice a day, or even 1:11, like it's popping up everywhere. And then yesterday, as I was listening to my Abraham Hicks tape on YouTube, it's got 11:11 in it. Like, it just and I've never seen an Abraham Hicks tape that had 11:11 in it. But now it often does, like in the subtitle under it, and sometimes even at the beginning of the video, there's just 11:11. And I've been for like more than a month. I just started like realizing after a while, I think one of my unseen friends is just trying to tell me they're here and they're ready to help. And so I very much pay attention to 1111 now. And I was very surprised when it popped up with Abraham Hicks. So I'm feeling like it's that, trusting, relaxing, knowing it's already there is kind of where I'm at right now, to learn how to receive.
Beautiful. Yeah. So the work you did with Atlantis and the lifetimes there, absolutely complete. Yes. And you are feeling the freedom that comes from that, the motivation to go into the forbidden zone, to work with the subconscious at that level, to set a new stage, to incorporate new beliefs that allow you to become more of who you truly are. So as you now do the image work that goes with, okay, the 4 that you just implemented, what is possible for you now? And to sit and write some of that out, to just ruminate on it and say, oh, well, these 4 beliefs are now at play in my reality, and I'm going to see evidence of it. But what does it mean about me, who I am becoming?
Yeah, and I definitely, as these 4 beliefs were popping up, what really kind of the waves that came over me was, I really just want to hide. Like, I never actually do. I have all these great ideas. I used to do my great ideas. I mean, I had some really wonderful, impactful startups that I worked on, but not in a long time. And I think it's this, like, I have this feeling now, or I've been having this feeling that I just want to hide in the house. I'll always be rejected was one of the 4 beliefs. And so I'll always fail because people won't ever accept my ideas or welcome my ideas. And so there was this week, as I was doing this work, there's this real sense of, I'm always going to fail. I never really want to get out there and do another startup. People are going to think I'm weird. I just would rather hide in the house and not be out in the world. And so, yeah, I think with this healing these things, I changed it to, I will always be accepted. I will always succeed. Like, so I think it is that, like, it is time to change that image of going out in the world and people are going to be excited by my ideas. And it was interesting because this weekend I ran into somebody in the neighborhood while I was walking Sandy, who I don't know very well. But she's friends with Jasper's dad, Scott, and she writes a neighborhood newsletter that tries to get the community together. And she's, of course, was really glum and despondent about what's going on in DC. And I was like, look, this is, like, there's some real things that we need to create new that haven't been working. And we need to, like, grieve and feel sad about everything that's breaking down. But then, like, just go hang out with some entrepreneurs and you're going to hear some great ideas and we're going to invent new. And she asked if she could interview me for the newsletter, and we're going to have lunch tomorrow. And she's like, if you start a group, I'll join your group. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start a group. And so it's funny that I'm already, I don't know if anything will happen with Marlene, but I'm already kind of getting out there a little.
Wonderful. Already seeing the effects of the change. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Tara.
Wonderful. We love you so. You're right on track. Wonderful. All right, John, who is next?
Patricia's got her unmuted. Patricia, was there anything you wanted to add?
Oh,
or can you wait till
actually, yes.
Okay.
So I went to a rally. There are 26 rallies in the state of New Jersey, one of the smallest states in the nation. So, yeah. So it was really fun. It was very upbeat. It was very hope-filled. There just seemed to be a lot of hope. And people were energized. It was well organized. And the police in this community were just so supportive. They actually ended up blocking off the street in front of the courthouse where the rally was being held because there were so many people. And rather than, directing traffic, they just blocked off 2 blocks to create more space for everybody. So it was really good. I'm glad that we went. But at the same time, in the middle of that experience, I thought, whatever you resist persists, and also whatever you pay attention to is what you create. Your greatest fear and your greatest joy. And so, similar to what Helen said, I thought, oh, and then the last thing was this administration, Trump, thrives on attention, negative or positive, because that's what he's going for, which is why he keeps people off balance, keeps their attention. So I don't want to be giving my energy in any form to support that. So freedom without responsibility is tyranny, and that's what we're witnessing. So I've been really conscious about this and making an effort to just focus on the positive in my life. And what also came to me is how critical it is to have dreams, even if they might not manifest into anything fabulous, to keep putting out dreams, because those dreams are seeding new futures. So one of my dreams was about education, and, well, whatever. It's going to be decentralized, and there were guardrails in place for the Department of Education that had to do with trying to provide consistent standards for kids across the country. It didn't really work. There are huge differences in the curriculum, but also in the quality of education in different states in the country. So I was really upset about McDonald and the things she said about, returning all the educational authority back to the states. But then I thought, why stay there? So what I came up with was this dream where there would be new standards, but the focus of them were about helping each child achieve their potential and have a productive life. And that just the basics would be taught in the first couple of years. And then each child would have like an individual program of their interests, talents, and skills being supported. So that can work. It's more complex, but I think it's a way of dreaming that does 2 things. It gets me out of being pissed off about the destruction, and it redirects my energy to something that I think could really be beautiful. But anyway, I just wanted to add that in. But something else, 2 other things that are going on. My brother's at a very critical stage in his health journey. And I'm aware that it's his choice. And I'm okay with that. But he's at a place where he doesn't want any phone calls. He doesn't want to have contact with anybody except his immediate caregiver. And so I contact him in meditation and whatever. And I'm okay with it until I think about, oh my God, I won't be dialing that phone number ever again. And then it hits me. It's like, even though we're not in a lifetime, at various critical times in our lives, he's reached out to me or I've reached out to him. at least twice in his life and twice in mine. And we literally saved each other's life. So he's not going to be there. And I think he's deciding if he wants to continue the fight or not, the fight to live or not. So, any suggestions you have about?
Yes, certainly. So with regards to your brother, certainly so. It is the physical plane is an illusion. Who he truly is much more about his soul, isn't it?
Yeah.
And his choice, preparing to transcend, if that's what he's choosing. Choices can change in the process. But at the moment, he's inviting his soul to come for him. And as you recognize that that is a transcendent state, free of the physical plane, free of the illusion, free of pain, free of suffering. And in that place, he's more available to you as a consciousness. And so as you absolutely can grieve that the physical illusion is changing, that is part of being in the physical plane, but that the more real becomes available to you as a result of letting that go. And so you can have both at the same time. You can be available to the more of his soul being a choice made before this lifetime to be there for each other on a soul level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
and then you can grieve and at the same time be available. So as you allow the healing balm of soul to imbue you and to heal your heart of that grief.
because I don't know. I've been wondering if I should do more, because a number of years ago, he was in a dire situation. It was a health issue, not the same one now, and he was in the hospital. He'd had an operation, and I called, and he was recovering, and he answered the phone, and I knew that his chest was filled with fluid. And I went into meditation immediately, and I breathed for him. And I felt it. I was breathing for him because he was struggling to breathe. And anyway, and then I didn't have a lot of he didn't have a lot of support at that time. And I ended up calling someone who really was very distanced from him, but it was the only number I had. And I said, listen, I said, you've got to do something. He lives in Texas. I said, you've got to do something. I'm sorry to bother you, but you're the only one I knew about. And so I said, would you please call the hospital and tell them that someone needs to look at him right away? And then this person said she would. And then we got off the phone, and then I continued to breathe for him. Later on, I found out that they did attend to him, and they found that his lungs were filled with several quarts of water. So he was basically drowning. Anyway, now I wonder. And there were times when I feel like I intervened and I should not have. Maybe he wanted to leave. But he accepted, obviously, he accepted what I was doing. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked, right? So this time, I'm thinking, I don't think I should, and anything like that. So what I've done is I've gone into meditation with him, and honestly, Tara, I don't know what to do except to just be there and be a loving presence and try to let him know on some level that he's very scared and that the other side is more beautiful than he can yet imagine. And I just want to know, is that all I can do? And he doesn't want to even talk to the rest of us on the phone. I think he's very tired, and he can't put on any facade because he doesn't have any energy to do that, so and I feel like I want to get on a plane and go down there, but I don't want to do that if that's not. So anyway, I just want, am I doing what I should do, or is there something else I should do?
So you are doing what is important, which is to be with him in the more real. Absolutely. And so just as other times when you knew what there was to do, this is also one of those times when you just know what to do and what not to do. So he has requested solitude or distance for whatever reason, for his own process, really. And so what you can do in meditation, as you also include his higher self and the higher self of the caregiver, and allow his soul to come as well, to be present, and have your higher self be with him, be the support that he needs to provide the love, the light. Your resonance matters. Your presence matters. The light that you are, the love that you are, does make a difference. So it can make the difference in the choices that he is going to make. He will have within him the guidance that he needs, that he's seeking. In the solitude that he has requested, he is working through what he needs to work through to make that connection within himself. And so in meditation, as you say, hey, it's really easy to listen. It's really easy to connect. You don't have to wait until you get to the other side. Let me show you. And in meditation, you show him how you know to connect.
Yeah, I just had a vision of him being so happy on the other side.
Well, yes.
So whatever decision he makes is it's the right decision for him.
Yes,
And
there is no failure.
right, and I'm not responsible for it.
Exactly.
Decision.
But your presence does matter, and it's important to recognize that you're available for that when you're not worried about making the wrong decision. Because he's already made his decision.
Okay.
He might change it along the way. But regardless of what he's choosing, you show up with the love and the light that you are. Does that help?
Oh my God, tremendously. Yeah.
Wonderful. We love you so.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, John.
All right, Henry.
Hello, Tara.
Yes, dear one. Where do we begin?
Wonderful to be with you again. I'm all over the place, and let's see. Well, it's about it's about the money and the taxes, and getting very alarmed that yes, I heard Galexis talk about this portal and realizing how difficult it is to feel positive thoughts and dreams with all this money stuff going on, and then having also realized that I talked to you about the Trekkies some time ago that are in they're in the forbidden zone. And I went down there. It's this part of me that just is kind of playing with ideas that could be destructive and or not, and just having fun with that. And I went to the forbidden zone to try and shut that down. And coming back, of course, I get a stronger feeling of that. And but also,
So
you
let's
know,
just clarify just a moment. To
yeah.
clarify, you went to the Forbidden Zone. Did you change anything while you were there, or did you just explore it?
No, I went to see them, and the thing about the Trekkies is that um, they came up. I did this with Lazarus. They came up in my adolescence when life, after wounding, when life was seemed so boring, and so they play around with ideas, or they've got test tubes and things. They're just kind of playing with stuff just to see, um, you know, let's see what happens with this, and it could be disastrous. And I realize I've been doing that a lot, well, in my life, and I'd kind of forgotten about the Trekkies, and uh, but I'm kind of doing it at the moment, and not quite knowing how to go forward, and thinking, well, perhaps I'll do this. I've got to this point with taxes of because of that, the thing we talked about last week about a problem that could come up because of something that wasn't declared. Um, Not knowing whether to talk to my tax person about it or not, because if she knows about it, then we have to declare it, and I don't have the money, and then just thinking, well, if I don't do my taxes, then what happens? And then it's kind of, well, whichever I do, um, if it gets found out, then I could lose my green card and stuff like that, and it's just trying to make these decisions and just thinking I'm not. And there's also, we talked about commitment last week, and I've been trying to get into commitment and just finding it very difficult to do that. And I know what finding it difficult means is I need to be more committed. And so it feels like just a flurry of another thing that came up, I realized yesterday, was I'm always looking for who really cares about me, and I'm realizing that the possibility of being sunk at this point is a lot of that is about, well, who really cares about me, who's going to show, and that I understand how dangerous that is, and that's came up in other crises I've had in the past, and so I went and did something about that, but again it kind of comes up stronger, and I understand that's about letting it go. So I'm in a flurry.
So as you're speaking about all this stuff, it's very familiar, isn't it? It's familiar. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah. Although I see different
so
sides.
in the familiarity, there's a sense of security. There's a sense of knowing who you are, even if it's negative, you see.
Yes. Well, I was
So
seeing today.
even as you say, oh, I'm doing it again, this is the intensity's building, and the closer we get to the deadline, the worse it gets, the pressure's building, pressure's building. And the question becomes, what is your belief? Is your belief that in the 11th hour I will create a miracle, I always do, or is the belief that in the 11th hour I will be squashed? So what's the point? So it's for you to look within yourself to say, okay, this is a familiar pattern. What do I believe will happen next? Is it the worst case scenario where everything crumbles and falls apart, and then I'm destroyed, and then I have to rise from the ash and recreate myself? Or is it that, oh, well, I thought it was going to be really terrible, but a miracle happened. Like they sometimes do. A miracle happened, and suddenly I have relief, and I don't have to, I didn't create the nightmare that I thought I was creating. So as you look to see what's my pattern, what's familiar, what's my identity wrapped up in. So the emotional journey that you've been on is a guide, and we've often suggested that emotions of that nature, where you indulge in them and you let them run their course and you embellish them and you expand on them, the negative ones, the place for those are in your drama, not in your safety and security, you see. As you say, I like to play with fire. I like to blow up the lab once in a while to keep things interesting. It's okay to be creative. It's okay to explore. If you explore without any parameter, well, you have done that, haven't you? You've done it on Orion. You've done it in Atlantis. You do know about destruction. You do know about pain. You do know about ends that justify the means, any means. But that's not what you came into this lifetime to explore. And part of you is saying, why am I running these scripts again? I thought I was done with them. And you are and you're not. You see, there's safety in the familiarity of the drama, of the pressure, of the I don't know when the shoe's going to drop and it's all just going to fall apart. There's a familiarity to that, not for no reason, but because there's a need to resolve that before you create the new world. Because you see that, what is important about that? Well, my creativity, my inspiration, my rebellion is a part of my responsiveness. There's my passion in there.
Right.
There's my willingness to exist that's in there. There's also an understanding of the range of possibilities. There's an awareness of, I could write a different script. I don't really know how I'm going to be that person yet, but I believe I can write a different script. This script that's so familiar, that is so engaging, that I believe it every time, is the one that I don't want to write again. I would like to write a different one. But who would I need to be? What would I have to open to? What would I have to forgive in the past? You might look to, okay, I'm pretty good at receiving in the 11th hour. In the meantime, I'm just trying to fix it and plug holes and make do and make sure I do it all right and don't make any mistakes. And then I find out I'm doing it all wrong. And then what's the point anyway? That is not receiving. That's the masculine dominating principle of trying to fix it. Not about change. That's not about resonance. That's not about choice. That's about dominating and controlling the outcome. Futility is part of that. Hopelessness, despair, suffering, frustration, that's all part of that. But true receiving, which you do in the 11th hour. So you have a belief that in the end, a miracle will occur. You just have to let yourself know that the end can come sooner than the deadline. I want the miracle now. So, to the lesser self, what's the miracle? Oh, well, nobody finds out. Where's your character? Where's your humility? Where's your I create my own reality in that picture? Went out the window. Success is they just won't find out and I'll be safe. I'll be living a lie, but I'll be safe. And we're not saying that you should disclose everything and hang yourself out to dry and see what happens. No, you need to program for the outcome you want. There's a whole range of possibilities. Total forgiveness, small payments, doesn't even qualify to be taxed. You can create all kinds of realities that are different from they're going to find out and punish me. You see, it's going to cost me everything. So, because that's the negative future. Well, so there's this program that runs that says, if I just imagine the worst, then whatever I get is always going to be better than that. So I guess I can be a success in that way. Because I never actually create the most negative. But I fear as though the most negative is going to happen. And that's part of the script, is I have to act as if it's going to happen. But that's a lot of time that goes into visualizing negative stuff. If you were to measure your day, as Lazarus once said to someone, are you spending 1% on dreaming new dreams and programming for what you want, and 99% expecting the worst? Because whatever your attention is on is what you get more of. So you get 1% miracles once in a while, here and there, out of the blue, no logic to them, and 99% verification that, yeah, I should have done the work. Yeah, I should have programmed differently. Yeah, I should have made different choices and decisions. Yeah, I should have forgiven myself. Yeah, I should have, didn't. Because I'm too busy making all the negative stuff real. I'm using my tools of creation inappropriately. And I can forgive myself for that, actually, can't I? Because there was a misunderstanding in there somewhere. The lesser self in me was given the job. Your job is to survive. Whatever it takes, survive. Don't hurt anybody. You can hurt yourself, but don't hurt anybody else. But survive another day so that one day, someday, we can create our dream. And one day, someday is always tomorrow. And so therefore, it's never today. You understand the program.
Yeah.
It's a problem in the script. So what can you do now? Well, you know what it feels like to feel good. Think a different thought. Turn it over. Turn this problem over to your higher self, who has infinite power. But can't do anything for you unless you give permission. And really let in, are you willing to build rapport with your higher self? To know that your higher self can create a miracle for you just because you are unconditionally loved. And look to see, are you resisting that? You might not be. We're not saying you are. Am I resisting being loved? Am I trying to earn the right to have a miracle when it's already been given? I just have to receive it. You see, reality is very different when you're willing to be part of creation instead of dominating it, making it the way you need it to be out of fear. See, fixing what's wrong is not creating something new. Identifying the problem and then trying to fix it or avoid it, which is pretty much the same energy. Resisting it, dominating it, it's all the same. You're on the game board, you're in that resonance. The problem exists and I can't get my attention off of it because, well, it's what's real to me. All I have to do is remember the problem's there and I'm in terror or fear. See, it's real. I have those emotions. It's real. That's how I know. And then you take a step out of that onto a different game board called I have a higher self who loves me unconditionally, who has infinite power. And what do I think about that? Do I feel not good enough? Undeserving? Do I understand that I am part of that resonance? That I have worth that is given. It's not a competition. I am unconditionally loved. And it's up to me to give permission. I have the power, you see, to change reality. I have solutions to solutionless problems. Come to me. In this resonance over here, within my lesser self, I don't get solutions. I've already figured it out. I'm supposed to be scared. I'm supposed to resist. I'm supposed to lie, cheat, steal, whatever. Beg. someone outside of me for forgiveness. Totally forgetting I can forgive myself. I can forgive reality. I can disappear the illusion and create something new. But I have to be willing to disengage from this and step into this.
Yeah.
Now, you have worked with us long enough that we know you do that frequently, that you're very adept at it, that you're actually pretty darn good at generating a new reality. Except you have this thing that says, yeah, but higher self, you didn't fix that. So what good are you anyway? You're not the only one doing that. So you put your whole relationship with your higher self, with your magic, with God Goddess, and you throw it out with the bathwater. Because they didn't show up in this situation. In this situation where you wrote the script that says, I got to fix it. I can't have help. It's my bed of nails. I've got to lie in it. I have to suffer. I created it. I have to suffer. No, I can't have any help. No, I have to prove that I'm more than this. I have to fix it. So you can see the box, the cube, is what bounded, has a boundary that says I have to do it all alone to prove I'm worthy. I can't have help. That's why there aren't any solutions. So as you really let in, oh, I created the parameters of failure as a challenge. What if I applied some of that adolescent creativity to this and blew away the walls, blew up the rules, and started over with getting rid of the misunderstanding that I am all alone, when in fact that is the illusion. And as you really let in, oh my gosh, I so bought into the lie that I don't see my way out of it. I feel like I'm like a cat in a paper bag, can't find its way out if it's a kitten, but when it's an adult, it just stomps the bag. But you don't understand that you created the walls. The walls are beliefs. And all you need to do is go to each one and tap it, and it comes apart. It's an illusion. And there you stand. And then you recognize, oh, the floor is an illusion too. I'm afraid to get rid of that floor. What if I disappear? What if I fall through? What if I fail? But it's an illusion. And the misunderstanding is that you think you're all alone, and therefore you are. But what if you got rid of that? What if you inserted, I thought I was alone, but now I know I am not alone? That I can receive regularly, routinely, the miracles that I need. And that it's up to me, all that I have to do each and every day is desire, imagine, expect something new. I can do that. I have to build that muscle. But as you really get, I'm the one who created the prison, the life sentence, so to speak. Because I thought that would earn me something. Love, attention, whatever it was. The child knew, hey, if I can just earn this, then they have to love me. But this is weighted also by other lifetimes, where you came in and with pure intent, positive intention, luminous intent, we'll call it, you said, with harm to none, except me. It's okay if I hurt myself. Well, it actually isn't. And we want you to really get that it's not okay for you to suffer, for you to harm yourself in the pursuit of proving that you are right about how wrong this reality is. You haven't seen the humor in it because to you, it's so serious, it's not funny. But to us, looking in, it's pretty funny. Oh my gosh, he still believes that. After all these conversations, he's still focused on the fear, trying to prove he's good enough, trying to prove that if he could just prove this one last thing, he'll finally know he's loved. So we're just going to circumvent all that and let you know, Henry, that we love you so. There is nothing you can do to change that. And your higher self is exactly the same as we are on that topic. And as you determined already, oh my gosh, I'm still trying to earn the love. What the heck? So you want to put in place some mechanism that reminds you, I am loved. And when you hear, yeah, but it's not your adult self, let your child know, let your adolescent know. Give them what they need in their reality. They're not the ones dealing with the tax man. If they are, shame on you. Set them free so that you, as a spiritual adult, can lean on your higher self and create miracles for yourself and for everyone in your world. This is about freedom, but not freedom from. Reoriented and understand this is a freedom to. I want to be free to be, do, have. And I'm letting my past be too real. It feels like an anchor. It feels like a chain. It feels like a prison sentence. It's up to me to end that. To end the attachment to it. To forgive it. To set yourself free. To know that forgiveness is enough. You have forgiven yourself good enough. But now you have to fill the space, you see. And that's a creative process. That's the feminine energy. To fill that space. You will fill it with something. But what do you want to fill it with? What do you want your new image to be? What matters to you? Well, being loving, being compassionate, having positive impact, being passionate, being creative, whatever comes to mind. We're just giving you some ideas.
Yeah, all those things.
Yes?
Yes, all of those things. Yeah.
Yes. And more. Don't put a limit on it. Can't 10 words. Ooh, too much. No. 100, 200, however many you want. Fill the space with the goodness, the truth, and the beauty of who you are. And if you're not feeling enough, then fill the spaces with what you sense your higher self is. The light and the love, the connection, the beauty, the eternity of you. Fill the space with that and revel in that resonance and let it lift you so that you can value what you bring. Because these problems are not who you are. They are a problem and there will be solutions. Who you are is so much more. And it becomes a question of, okay, today, how much time and presence did I give my dream? Or did I spend most of my time worrying and fretting and avoiding and placating and not being present? Because if I'm present, well, then I feel pain. But then you haven't chosen the future you want to create. You've only chosen the one you fear. And the pain is telling you that. You're heading to the wrong future. You're not really heading to the negative one, but you tell yourself that because that's the script. You don't actually ever create the worst case scenario. That's just the way the script goes. Instead, spend a little less time on that. Okay, I know that. I know that. I know exactly what the worst case scenario is, but I'm going to exercise choice and I'm going to focus on what do I want instead. Separate from that. Doesn't exist. Clean slate. What do I want to fill the space with? I don't know. Okay, go beyond the form into the function. I want to feel loved. And I'm going to do the work of imagining that. I want to know I matter. I don't know it yet, maybe. Or maybe I know a little bit. When I'm in the performances, then afterwards, the accolades, I fill up on the accolades. I know I matter. I had positive impact. I made a difference. So I'm going to fill up on that. Or I'm going to let my soul fill me with a sense of who I truly am. I don't know how to do that. It's okay. Just ask, and you will receive something, and your perceptions will be modulated. And the more you do it, the more you'll sense, and your perceptions will continue to be modulated until it becomes a beautiful stream of light and love into you. And if that's all you do in this lifetime, you will have made a map for your world that is more valuable than you know. And as you let that in, we know, yeah, but my bills, yeah, they'll be taken care of. Because in that love, in that resonance, magic happens, miracles happen. And as you make it your purview, your skill, your mastery, I connect, I receive, miracles happen. Doesn't matter what the topic is, because it changes you. And you have changed. You are enough. Even when you don't feel it, you are. Does that help?
Yes, a great deal. And I do talk to my higher self and give permission, and I realize that I tend to do it out of rote because I think I'm not doing it right. And then I think, well, I'm not asking right. And I'm not then going through the process of then, please lift the shame and lift the shame. I need to do that first before I can be asked to. So it's all about, yeah, it's just not letting it happen, isn't it? It's all about earning it and doing it right. Yeah.
Yes. And we tell you the truth when we say your higher self doesn't have any prerequisite to ask it. And as you
I,
let that be more real than the yama yamas, you are breaking up the old pattern. So you're aware of it. You're crystal clear on what the old pattern is. And when it comes up, it's upsetting. Oh my God, that's still there. What's the problem? It's not a problem. What there is to do is to ask higher self to intervene, to lift you out of the resonance. You know you're out of it because your higher self's presence matters. Just as your presence when you enter any space matters, changes the resonance of the space. And as you let that be more real, give it depth, give it meaning, let it matter, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And what's going to happen is you're not going to remember the old stuff so much. It's only going to be once in a while that you wonder, what the heck just happened? But when it does, it's okay to forgive yourself. It's okay to say, okay, I forgot I create my own reality. Trying to earn it. What there is to do is to know, no, I am enough. It's not enough for me to tell myself. I have to let my higher self be with me. And when I commune with higher self, it matters because I know I'm not alone. And that is the antidote for you.
all right, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for your vulnerability. Wonderful. All right. And so to each and every one of you, so much important information in the questions that were asked, in the observations, the understandings, the depth of understanding your own process is so clear in all that shared this evening. And the changes, allow them to be real, to really settle them into the core of your being. Know that you have changed, that you are more than you were, and that you are making the maps for those who are awakening in your world to follow. Yours is to dream the dreams, to vision the new world, to design it, to co-create it. You are not alone. All right. And so we go for now. We go with love and peace as we bring Katrina back. We go for now. Until next time, we go with love and peace.